Figures of international markets against the dollar. We're losing it also in the region as well. Another drowning victim. That is what Stano has drawn inside the People Daily today. And House of Cards. This is a National Dialogue Committee. It has been a whole fracas and a disorganization. The cost of living you can see there is the gentleman with the pail in hand actually who's yet to fall down. And we have no direction as far as the National Dialogue Committee is concerned on the cost of living. And right now we've heard also from the Right Honorable that also protests are not off the table. That is, should be a matter of consideration. This is what has been drawn today there by Victor inside the Daily Nation. But we continue to probe the KCPE results and the also questions around it. Questions we're asking is the running of this Ministry of Education also up for maybe some probing a bit in terms of efficiency and competences, right? Do you think a reshuffle should be done? There are a lot of questions that have been raised regarding the leadership of Machogu, regarding different facets of education, pronouncements that are being made, and people asking, was that policy really thought through? Did it go through the entire policy process before also pronouncement or implementation? Right from the Jamil idea, I want us just to pick from there.
I agree with the Honorable Baya. Kenya Kwanza new administration has got a very well grounded, very well thought out, very well consulted education master plan that originated from the education charter, which is now supported by Presidential Working Party on Education and Reforms, which will eventually get to Parliament through a sessional paper with accompanying legislation. But I think that is not enough. Machogu needs to vacate the style of Matiang'i and Magoha, who created all this mess in the examinations. The Russian exams is wrong, and I agree strongly with the Honorable Baya. In standard measurement and evaluation, and through in best international practices, exams must be moderated. Yes. And after marking, there is always a seminar of examiners and chief examiners, and it's a carefully done process. And this was thrown out of the window by Matiang'i and Magoha. And then now the marking pressure, where you force examiners to mark exams up to as late as 10 and 11 in the night. Because marking of exams needs some proper mental concentration. Because you are checking facts, you are checking also cheating, where there is cheating. As a marker, you must detect. And the reports that we have is that this pressure, rushed marking, originally examiners would mark between 8 and 5 in the evening. Take a break, rest, come the next day, mark between 8 and 5. But with this, the dictatorship from Matiang'i and Magoha is forcing examiners to mark into the night, so that examiners, they no longer bother to check about cheating and that. So I think we've got to revise the processes where they're rushed, so that we do them in an orderly way and moderate exams. Let me ask you, including just the method of releasing exams. Dibal, allow me.
No, just a moment. I need to probe, because you said Matiang'i, and also you mentioned who else? Magoha as well.
The two.
So is it documented in policy that it should be marked within that time? I've never seen that policy.
Documented.
It's not documented.
It's not documented.
So if it's not
it was the whims.
Let me ask you just a moment. If it is not documented, then why is Machogu going that way, and it's not documented anywhere that it has to be?
This is where he's
got a free hand.
This is now where we are saying Machogu and his personnel at ministry should now vacate those unprofessional practices, and we treat exams in a more professional way, and allow processes that do not take too long, but take a reasonable time, because quick feedback is also good, but not so quick that you cause mistakes, and that should be corrected.
Right.
And I think Machogu should vacate that. Then there are two recommendations. Number one,
before we go to the recommendations,
release of results through the SMS, which you don't control. I think this should be vacated, because the SMS is not controlled by NEC, It's controlled by Safaricom, and the IT systems are taken over by other individuals, which have led to these particular errors. We can still release the results very quickly by deploying to the school portals, and candidates can receive the results through the schools. This other method that we are using, which is causing confusion, and which the ministry and NEC cannot control, should be vacated. It is not helping, it is causing confusion. That is number one. Number two is a policy of NEC and the ministry that students and schools are not ranked. But you, the media, you've created a ranking system, and you end up ranking, and the next day after results are released, you've actually done the ranking. If the policy is not to rank students for good reasons, for good ethical reasons, then the media should not even do it. I think we've got a lot of loopholes.
No, media
that really needs.
Media picks the information that has been relayed.
No.
And from SMSs, you give the top students.
Let us have a balance.
I've always been wondering.
Let us have a balance.
Have we done away with the ranking?
Let us have a balance.
Okay.
The moment it is unprofessional to conduct
Thank
ranking.
you.
The
You raise a lot of issues, but I need to
unprofessional
probe. Just
to conduct ranking.
Kindly.
And by the way, much of this confusion
Before we go to the ranking,
the media.
No, just a moment.
So really,
all right,
we must have safeguards.
Thank you.
On how to conduct
Sossion.
all those stakeholders involved, including.
Allow me to bat in. We've had Bilio Kipsang I think for the longest time, over a decade in that particular docket, isn't it?
Yes.
Bilio Kipsang, his engine, is actually the advisory person that can tell Machogu which way to go. He knows these policies. He's been there through different epoch of times with the results of examinations. You know what works and what does not work. Why are we blaming the letter Magoha? And I'm just asking a question because you are raising fingers, yet we have a CS, we have a PS that has been in that docket for the longest time ever.
I am talking about the persons of CSS. Because the CS is the lead person and the head of the ministry.
No.
And how you consult, because the personnel below you, the personnel below you are under your instruction.
But do you work
if
together?
You are the CS, you direct the PS, you direct the heads of the directorates, you direct NEC, you direct the sagas.
You are
the leader.
Excuse me.
Of the ministry.
I don't really buy that because I thought we work as a team.
So when you narrow me down...
No, I'm not narrowing you down. I'm asking because we have a PS who has actually been there for the longest.
And I'm not going to give you any answer around
Why not? Why are we blaming the previous regime?
I will get specific.
Right. No. Let me just ask you a question.
Forward.
Why are you moving forward in not answering my question?
Yes.
Yeah, because he has been there with these different regimes. If it was Magoha's time, he was there.
I think you invite Kipsang to the show.
If
and then he expresses himself. I cannot speak on his behalf.
But you're speaking on behalf of NEC and these others. Why aren't you speaking on behalf of NEC?
No, I'm not speaking on behalf of NEC. I'm speaking about information that I've gathered from NEC. Right?
But I am trying.
And I'm speaking about right information.
But you're the one who's pointing fingers to the other administration as well.
No, I've got to point fingers where it is because
that's what I'm
the leaders.
Asking. Yeah, even
I can
that's
talk
what I'm
about.
Asking.
I can talk about the ministers from Kamodo to Henry Koskei to Professor George Saitoti to Sam Ongeri to Mutula Kilonso to Kaimenyi to Matiangi to Amina Mohammed and to Magoa and
right,
now to Ezekiel Machogu. We talk about the heads of the ministries. Correct. We don't go down and talk about who was in NEC, who was what, who was the PS,
okay, fantastic.
who was this.
But you
I agree with Owen Bayer here, Mheshimiwa, that Machogu now should lead the ministry to vacate those practices that would not work and recalibrate the ministry to work properly. And it's not going to be Machogu alone. It will be Machogu with his personnel, the PSS, the directorate, and all the rest.
Thank you.
So you are not going to have an advantage of trying to narrow down
I'm not narrowing
to a
down.
junior officer for purposes of vilification. And we are not defending anybody who is culpable. Anybody who is culpable in this government and in the ministries for engaging in any form of malpractices must ship out. I don't think we are going to tolerate anyone. But then there must be foolproof evidence. It cannot be flying statements in the streets, in the media, or moving
Right.
to court like
Thank you.
Kitengela International
Let me come to
School, for
Tabitha.
example.
Let me come
We
to
talk
Tabitha.
about Kitengela International
Hey,
School.
no, the bell has to toll now.
We know it also conducts
Hey,
international
Sossion,
exams.
Let me butt in and
And
also.
they've been involved in malpractices. So some of these private schools are high-end entities of engaging in examination malpractices. And it's a business.
Yes.
And now that they're not finding their way around the neck, they're trying to hide the public, which is wrong.
Tabitha, you've had that list of the ministers that we've had from Kaimenyi, Kamodo, the letter Mutula Kilonzo. Up to today.
And I can give you account of all of them.
Yeah. Give account of all of them, isn't
Yes,
it? Yeah, fantastic. But we've never had an account of what we've had with KCPE or maybe even KCSE, where there has been issues regarding people also going to court to challenge the outcome of the KCPE results from all those ministers, except for this.
Let me even start by saying that, as we had earlier mentioned, where the problem is. Is that where we are?
Yeah,
right?
I wanted to ask, is the problem,
Okay.
is that squarely the problem of Minister of Education on how they're running their policies? First of all, even with the tearing rush of this examination, what is the tearing rush that we should have it within 2 weeks before Christmas? We get announcement. Is it populism? Right? It hurts also the process and the credibility of exams as we can see it. And that's what I'm asking. We've had an accounting officer who has been in different streams of time with different presidents, who can be in the best position to advise what works and not. Mashogu is just a new person in that particular docket, for heaven's sake. So we rely heavily. They don't normally say, even you guys, we've had some of his cabinet secretaries and we've questioned some of their capacities, and we've had also legislators here saying some of his positions given to them are just ceremonial. Right? They're just ceremonial. The people who runs these ministries are the accounting officers who are the engines of it. That's why we are asking, I'm pinpointing on that. So the ad hocery manner of the policy that we've seen from the Ministry of Education is one thing. Is it a high time that we should have a reshuffle from that particular docket?
Dibal, I say a complete no. We don't need reshuffle. We have a very, very competent waziri of education. And you see, two wrongs don't make a right, Dibal. Because the issue that we are discussing today, the issue that is out there today, is an issue of the mobile service providers. Can we differentiate that fact? Because if this mix-up did not come out, would we be having this discussion? Would we be where we are? Further to that, as I've always said, a good leader is the one who identifies a problem and then puts a solution. Are we accepting that there is a situation here in terms of how the results were released? We are saying, as leaders, the time duration that came and changed in the time of Matiang'i, in the time of Magoha, is compared to the current status, is a bit limited. The solution should be more timeline so as to do much more verification, and also the service providers to get the right data so that we avoid this mix-up. So the ball clearly to Kenyans.
So the service provider didn't get the right data.
The issue is not Machogu as we speak, because one, exams were done. They were done on time. Every student did the exams, and all results are out. As we speak, we are in the process of placing students to Form 1. Is that going on well? It is going on well. And the person that should be coming out today, that you should give airtime, is Safaricom. They should be coming out and apologizing to the parents, to Kenyans, in terms of the mix-up that had been there, and clear the air so that we get off from these discussions. Because if that does not happen, Dibal, when parents, let me finish kindly, when parents now will be looking at the same digital formula of the schools, because I think there's a digital SMS whereby you check which school your kid has been admitted to, then if we do not sort it out right now, that will be the same problem that will find us during the selection process, whereby you find even mix-up of schools or parents going and Mara, this kid was admitted in this school, Mara, they are not in the official list, and those things like that. Way forward should be, even where we are, the parents to go to NEC and verify their results directly. Two, let the ministry take their time in this admission time to Form 1 selection. Maximally let them take their time, and let parents go to their institutions and get their letters or their admissions correctly in the right way. Safaricom now, or those mobile service providers, should now get the right information. If they are going to provide this information to the parents, the information should be correct. This issue, should stop being politicized. Kenyans are a bit tired of everything being turned political. And lastly, as I finish, Dibal, it's still my time.
I wanted just to ask before you, I know it's your time, but but the issue of a service provider, the service provider does not generate the content of what is to be actually dispensed to the public. It is actually NEC who is actually providing this data. Why would you? It's just a conduit. It is just a platform.
Dibal, it is one thing that they are not generating, but it is another that they're the receivers. So which information did they receive? Which information did they receive? It is in their responsibility to ensure, just a minute, to ensure that the information that they absorbed is correct, verified, and the actual information. Indeed. That is what we are saying.
I don't think that's their precept to verify. That is now adding another job description to Safaricom or the service provider. That is
no. It is in their mandate to give the right information. And lastly, Dibal, because this one you like evading in terms of the media. The media, as Mheshimiwa Sossion had even mentioned, the issue of ranking was stopped. The issue of ranking schools was stopped. As much as I'm happy, the county that I represent, Nairobi, we had the best student of 410 Riara Springs Primary, where my nephew also was studying. I'm happy. But the government said that this should stop, because now it becomes a cash cow sort of business, discriminative and all that. But the media rushes to pick up that information, and place it there. Why are you doing a role that is also not yours? The ministry should be doing that, and that one stopped. Can you also stop trying and bring all these rankings that are not within your mandate? You are not educationists. You are not in that space of ranking institutions. Just give the people the information and move away from the ranking factors.
All right, let's hear from Owenbar.
I want to say this, Dibal. Where is this problem that we have? Because we have a problem within the examination system. And I can tell you from an educational perspective, where did it start?
The examination is just the tail end of it. I think the whole process of
yes, and I want to debunk
from the CBC, the JSS. I mean, there's a hallmark of confusion with the current academia.
You see, there was a time in this country where we had two larger-than-life personalities that managed both the education sector and the examination sector. There's a time when the late Professor Magoha was chairman of NEC. And then Matiang'i was Minister for Education at the same time. That's the time when we started missing the education system. Because Magoha is a larger-than-life personality, Professor high-ranking, went into NEC and imposed himself there and killed all proper systems of measurements and evaluation, and thought his ideas were better than those that we know as educationists. And he started saying exams must be done within the shortest time possible. They reduced examination time. I remember when I was doing my KCPE then, I think we did it in 6 days or something like that. You have a break, you have time to study, but they said, no, this must be done like this. Why? Because they wanted to impress the president that they're efficient. Okay? And therefore, he came into NEC with certain issues that were non-educational, that actually ran away from educational principles. Okay? He's a professor, of course, so everybody listened to him. It convoluted all systems at NEC, such that exams must be marked within the shortest time, exams must be done within the shortest time, results must be released. I remember it is the first time when we started seeing a minister going to a school to supervise an exam. We started seeing it then. The chairman of NEC was all over the country supervising exams and releasing, you go to open these things, the containers and all, and release results. That's the first time we started saying, we removed examination from the professional perspective of examinations and made it, something else. On the other side, he was supported by another personality that when Mutiangi was there. So I can tell you, that's the time when the ministry, education in this country started being messed up. We reduced term dates, we reduced term period, We condensed materials and curriculum to be done within the shortest time period. We even reduced holidays, That's the time when it started getting messed up. We forced teachers to teach subjects within the shortest. We even reduced as the school day from, I used to go to school from 8 to 12:30, from 2 to 4:30. They reduced it and brought it down to 3. Everything else started being convoluted and education got mixed up. The end result, it now seeped into examination. If you are an educationist, there's something called measurement and evaluation. It is where examinations fall in. Then there's something called processing of results. In processing of results, there's something called educational statistics. That is where you start processing, using those principles. You understand? There are people who are supposed to look at curriculum, and everything in education has a professional, people who are trained in those areas. And you can even do a PhD in just examination measurements. These are things that are educational. But the people who came in to manage the education sector at those levels ran away. You even have sometimes people at KICD, curriculum developers, who are not even the head of curriculum development in this country, may not even be a professional in the area. But I want to ask Magoha, who is a good man, a man who understands administration and knows that every person must be put in this place. Machogu, to ensure that he brings in professionalism in management. I want to answer the question about Ben. Ben is a good man. He's an educationist. He has a PhD in education. He understands the education sector the way it should be done. But when they brought in people in that and he differed with them, they removed Bellew. He was moved to a ministry called East Africa. They removed Bellew. And yet he was the anchor of what education was in the ministry. But they threw him out and brought in other people who never understood what education is about. The education, I can tell you, the budget in this country.
I saw Bellew Kipsong, who was actually opening some of his containers as well.
Yes, but so because I want to.
In what context is he in East Africa? Maybe I've missed my current affairs. You can educate me.
No. There was a time Bellew Kipsang was brought in by the Kenya Kwanza because he has a repository of knowledge about issues of education and managing education.
He has been there, not he was.
Yes,
he has been there.
Yes, but there's a time when he was removed.
He was removed.
Bellew was removed. Okay. You understand that.
Okay.
In the last regime, he was removed because if I'm advised, because I'm sure he was advising people, this is education, must be managed by this, and this is a medical doctor who says, I'm a precisionist, things must be done this way, and therefore I think if I follow the process of education, I'll waste time. So I can tell you what we have is both a systematic and systemic problem within education, and it will take time before it is properly fixed. And I would like to ask Machogu, who is, I think, one of the best that we have in terms of management of education, to sit down with the professionals within the ministry and fix the mess that we are in. The other thing that I want to talk about is when results are released, there's garbage in, garbage out. What the people who sit at the computer feed in is what we get. If we go through the rushed processes, just one wrong entry messes the whole thing. And this is where now we need to bring sobriety within examination systems and processes. We need to bring that. It has been messed up. I know friends who are examiners, chief examiners. By the time they leave the examination center, they are broken down. They're sick, they're in depression, their pressures are high by the time, because everybody is pushing them. Now, you can imagine these chief examiners who must process a patient at the tail end, who must supervise the whole process within 2 days, within 3 days, process everything. These people go crazy. because of the pressure that they're being put in. Why? What is the result? I remember examination results, people, I don't know which minister would say, go and have fun, celebrate your Christmas, and everything, results will come after Christmas. And everybody knew in this country after 26th.
Of course.
We'll have results.
Yes, you have results.
It was a tradition.
Yes, it was a tradition. Now you have given a child results in November. He has the whole of December under pressure. This one is, oh, you didn't do well. This one, you did well. Why do we want to put kids in that problem? Why? Why do we want to do that? And yet we can release results, do selection within time, and still be able to prepare for Form 1 at the right time. Right now, I can tell you the ban. Last yesterday, I was in my Kilifi, in my office, and parents have started already coming in to tell you, boy, Shimon nataka bursary. What for? For my child who finished class 8. Do you have an admission letter? No. So why do you want bursary now? Because he has results. Parents now are crazy. Look, oh, my child got these marks. Now I need to get a good school. Now I need to get bursary. Now I need to... All these kind of things. Why are we putting the country under that kind of pressure? And yet we have time to do all those things. So I would like a revision on examination timelines. Children right now should be in school, not at home. Why do we give children 3 months break? What for? What for? They should be in school until almost Christmas time. Then they take a break. But now we have put the pressure on parents. We have put pressure, their kids all over. Now we are thinking there are people now cashing on it.
Why are the parents having pressure? I think it's a remit of the parents. I mean, the whole year they've not been having these children.
There are people, entrepreneurs right now who are starting seminars and conferences for children during December.
Yes.
You know, so now because it's a long time, so
because the parents they don't know what to do with their children at home.
No. So now
it's a
what
headache
you
to them.
refuse. What you refuse, let me make this point. What you refuse to have because you wanted to keep children lesser in school, okay? Now it's gone back to that because now an entrepreneur said, I have several letters from people like, if you have your child, I'm conducting a seminar for children for 2 weeks. Pay this much money. Bring your child for training in life skills and all that. What you did not want to have the kids in school is what now people are now. Parents are actually looking. Huyu mtoto wangu, where do I take him now? Or there is a seminar here being organized for 1 week. There's a boot camp being organized. I don't know for fashion.
They want to. They want them. They want them to be occupied, but
they want them occupied, and yet we did not want to keep them in schools. Now they are going into schools where you do not even understand the curriculum of those trainings, those seminars, those things that the children are being taken to. Why? So I would like this government, this government, to put their foot down, bring back the normal school calendar, not the Matiang'i thing. You know, people thought Matiang'i is the most efficient person, he's larger than life, so whatever he says was correct. He messed the education system, and I can tell you, and even when he was Minister for Interior, Matiang'i's foot was still in education.
All right, thank you. We should really point fingers because there was COVID-19 that really happened, and of course also the exam calendar and the school calendar was affected. We're trying to realign. Now we've really realigned as it were. But I want just to question, because it seems, especially, and for me, somebody who has astounded me is Honorable Sossion. Because Honorable Sossion has been stoutly against the CBC itself, questioning the education philosophy of the CBC.
Yes.
But now he crossed over, he's become a politician. Now this is for political posturing.
I think
I just wanted to mention, because you have been against, and the way I now listen to you nowadays, you don't speak with the same verve and vim and vigor that you had when you were speaking against the CBC itself. Where I'm arriving to is, and questioning this morning is the education philosophy of our country lost? Do we even have an education philosophy of this country, and what is it? Because it seems to be just a mess and confusion when it comes to this sector. When you come to the CBC itself, when you come to the transition and the JSS, people are wondering what is it really happening. When it comes to even the resources, the teachers who are being trained for this CBC, it seems from the curricula itself to the examination, it's a whole complete mess.
Debal.
How credible and confident can we be
Debal.
that our education system is not
I would
retrogressive?
suggest that you invite us again for another show to discuss the curriculum extensively, and you'll understand that I've not changed my position. While in the Kenya Kwanza team, particularly in the developing the education charter and seeing through the process, we negotiated with the stakeholders, and we agreed that the curriculum must be reviewed. That's the only professional way to be done. It is codified in the education charter, and it is what the presidential working party has undertaken. And Debal, I argued about reforming a curriculum is a normal thing, but reform it the right way. It was done the wrong way. And I'm happy. Kenya Kwanza engaged the public, it engaged the professionals. There is a report with recommendations. And for me, as a professional, if there is a report with recommendations and there has been consultation,
Yes.
what else should I talk about? What else should I talk about? Those are things I was arguing for, and I'm one person who will sit back and take a cup of tea with a lot of joy that the issues I was raising has been addressed and is being addressed. Look, domiciling of grade 7, 8, and 9 in primary and coming up with comprehensive schools, a good model, developing pathways and strengthening pathways at senior secondary and removing all those fanfare nomenclature.
But the teachers
it's a
themselves,
complete departure.
the unions, the teachers themselves,
understand. I will need a private setting.
They're not comfortable with that setting.
So that you understand exactly what has been done and what is contained in the recommendations.
That's what I'm wondering, Sossion.
But
just to ask before we
but
change
to
the
tie
subject.
the loose end on exams, allow me to finish with the exams. I agree strongly with the recommendations of Bayer and all of us. We must agree we came from a background of dictatorship within the education, where we committed genocide against the children of Kenya.
Yes.
If you mess up KCSE and reduce transition from 265,000 to universities down to 70,000, and you brag around the country that you have done well, I think you must be a sick person. I raised those concerns, and I'm happy this gradually, Machogu is systematically reforming this, but I think he should move now and throw out some of the practices that are not professional. Because the ministry and the education sector must be run professionally through extensive and wide professional consultation. But with respect to exams, 5 recommendations or 4 that I give. 1, this pressure of timelines should be eliminated, including even marking.
Yes.
Now KCSE is beginning. You cannot force those examiners to mark up to 10 in the night until they lose their heads. It's not right. The timeline should be relaxed. And this is what Machogu should oversee with the experience from KCPE. He should rectify these things and fix them within the KCSE. Number 2, this bulk SMS release of results should be reviewed. Is it the right way? Where should the students and parents get their results? They should get them from their schools. According to me, the school portal should be the center of getting genuine and authentic results. 3, ranking. If ranking has been outlawed, nobody in Kenya should have the privilege of doing ranking again, including media. Don't defend. Nobody should.
But
number 4.
I want to just
Number four. Listen, this fanfare of releasing results, where you have live coverage everywhere, and you have some performances, and what that fanfare should be removed. It should be removed.
But who invites the media?
And that is where pressure comes in.
Yes.
No, we don't
You
invite
That is
ourselves.
where you media,
Who invites the media?
You media, you'll go there,
Yeah.
you'll report, you'll pick negative things. You don't know the damages
No,
you're doing.
but who
on
invites the
children.
media?
That fanfare should be removed.
Correct.
So that results are
Okay.
simply deployed, and through a simple press release that is circulated to media houses, parents will know they go to the portal and get their results.
I've been asking
And,
myself, you
and
raise a
that
good
is how
point.
exams are handled all over the world. The fanfare and pressure in Kenya is specific to Kenya, and it does not help. 2 students have committed suicide. We now have the next frontier after these results. Release of schools And we'll see it at KIC and everywhere. You can access, you can send your index number to this number, and you'll know the school that the child has been admitted to. The next big confusion is parents refusing to accept the schools where students have been admitted. We've seen it.
Thank you.
And these are things. There must be.
I agree with you.
There must be
allow me
radical
to get a word in edgewise, please.
Redirection by Jogo, and this will have to be done.
Because it's a question I've been asking myself.
Yes.
Since we had, because I was wondering, do we still have the same policy that we should not be actually listing what schools are performed and which students are performed well and who?
It is a policy.
Yeah, it's a policy. It's
a government policy.
Is there an effective communication to this? Because we don't just report these things. If there's a list, it is a list that is coming from somewhere.
You don't engage.
No.
So that you don't engage in this practice.
I'm not refuting.
That policy should be communicated clearly, even to the media houses.
That's what I'm saying.
That you don't do. It's unethical.
Yes,
why are you ranking my students if I cannot rank them in the first place?
Yeah.
Okay, as a teacher. Who are you, an outsider who is not a practitioner in the sector
of education
to come and begin ranking?
I agree.
It is like you, media practice medicine.
Yes,
You're not. Do your media work, report what we give you. Report what we give you.
So you're calling us quacks.
That's a fact.
Okay.
It is time we call a spade a spade. And we tell
I agree.
each other the truth. Yes.
But we are here to solve solutions. I think that's why we have these discussion programs. If we see there is an error, that's why I'm asking. Yes, maybe from the point of media, we've not done very well in terms of not trying to rank or disease from that particular practice. But we're asking, where is this source of information coming? Because we are invited by the Kenya National Examination Council or the Ministry of Education that they are going to be releasing results.
Yes.
And they are actually coming with this ranking itself the way it has been. Because we don't collect this information from the portal itself.
If I go to the history, just look at it in the media. I'm quoting previous media reports.
That's what I'm saying. It's a history with a mistake. The way you've been putting
because these mistakes are repetitive.
I agree.
Go on repeating these same mistakes.
I agree.
Look here, Debal.
No.
Also be a listener. Be a listener. This was 2019, uproar over KCPE results released by NEC, and that was Magoa. 2018, parents flock NEC headquarters over missing KCPE results. 2016, uproar suspicion against Matiang'i after dead students' results was released. That was in 2016. So these complaints have been there over and over, and that is why we are saying it is time these things are fixed. We can't go on. And you see, media thrive on negative data. I think it is time we do things right, we get things done right, so that you don't have this negative data.
I agree.
Debal.
I agree. Allow me also to ask you,
as far as
so that we give the other panelists a chance as well, right? Just a moment. I think we'll come back to you.
Let me finish. I want to correct
we'll have
you.
Your own session,
I want to correct you. I never saw Machogu read the top students and the top schools. He did not. And that has been avoided. And it was pronounced all through that students cannot be ranked. Where did the media get the authority to do so? Even if you get data, you'll always get analyzed results, the marks, students' marks. But I know some of the media houses, they open a call center and tell parents, when you receive the results of your students, send them to that center plus the photo, so that the photos are in there.
But which daily held? I want to know. I want to know the ranking.
These are facts. So we've got a lot of housekeeping to do to get all the stakeholders who are operating.
Can we hear from Tabitha before we come to you, Owen? Because for me, I agree. I understand the frustration that some of the students will go through, especially with this ranking, and it should be. I'm totally in agreement. But there seems still to be a confusion on how this is relayed right from NEC itself, right? Should other jurisdictions, the way they do it, I don't know how they normally do it, but it is not a fanfare and that he should be celebrated. But how then how has it been corrected from the NEC And why should we get a press conference from the ministry? Why can this just information be relayed to schools so that every school will just communicate to the parents that, yeah, the examination has been, and here are the results, come for the results, so that we don't heighten the tension that is normally on when we are actually carrying out this particular, for almost 3 good days.
Yeah.
The students are, very antsy, and there's anxiety and tension, so that we ease off that.
Yeah.
What is the prime solution? Because I don't think we still have it. We see there is from the ministry, there is a pronouncement from the media, we're being bashed here that we're still ranking. How do we deal with it?
Dibal, you're asking a very good question this morning on the issue of relaying this information. And I think you still have the answer with you, because it's what Honorable Sossion is just saying. He's just saying, where do we get this information? Where do we get this status? We get it from the media. It is you. So the solution is you stop doing what you're not accredited to do.
But
that is to stop doing your own ranking, because we do not know which formula you use. It is the same way. Let me take you back a bit. Allow me. In 2022 general elections, the media tried to open a server in their media houses throughout tallying centers, correct? With tallying centers, they tried, they ran with the system, they could not match, and then they failed because they were doing what they are not best suited to do. Let the experts do their work, and let them do it, because that is what they are trained to do. They are experts on, because you're doing what you're not supposed to do. Even we're in this mess so much because of what you've tried to give people's opportunity to popularize what is not correct. The solution is simple. Let every parent, when you're registering your student to do a national exam, you don't register through the media. You do not even know. So it is through the institutions that have been accredited by the Ministry of Education. Let the same students, let the same parents go through the same channel and get the right feedback. Let them now come out and say that, NEC, this is what I've gotten from the school, and this is what is in your portal. There's some differences. Then how are these differences amended so that they go back and be able to rectify those particular problems? We are now worried, as we speak, on the KCSE now, because when this alarm has been raised, it gives worries also to the parents and also leaders in terms of now, what are we going to see at the KCSE? We request you for the KCSE, pull down, let there be fast verification so that you relay the right information. We do not even need these rankings for you to be able to do it for us. But, and just lastly on the same, as I've mentioned earlier, on the issue of what Mheshimiwa Owen had mentioned, by the way, of the kids. Just this Sunday I was in town. We were having some Thanksgiving in Nairobi County, and I had an opportunity to, I rarely go to town on the CBD on Sunday, because in Parliament you're always in this town. And so I saw a generation that I was a bit shocked. I even, wondered what has happened. I saw very young, small kids, very young, half dressed, if I would say, half dressed, and they're shooting all manner of videos, dancing all manner of styles in town, broad daylight. And I was shocked. I was saddened. I was like, what is? And it is on Sunday. A Sunday, I remember, at least you would do your Sunday best and go first to a Sunday school and spend much time there. Then in the afternoon, they're there preparing for the next day for school, which is on Monday, if you've done homework and all that. But what I'm seeing are guys with the, what do you call these machines, the videos, the cameras, very professional cameras, and groups of young people, kids.
School going.
The school going. I asked myself, where are these parents? What is this kid going? Where is this kid saying they are? What are the parents thinking? And they are young, small kids. It is scary. So when we say even this should be revised, and we will talk as Kenya Kwamba government, we will talk to the CS Matiang'i and address in terms of let this that term also be having the 1 month recess period. I mean, holiday period for students.
Balance the holidays.
Balance the holidays for April. It's normally April and August should be enough, because what we are seeing out there is so much exposure on things that were not there before. And that is why we even have the issue of LGBTQ, because they are going as cliques. Young boys together, you can see how they're trying to relate. Young girls together, you can see how they're trying to relate. And then you want us to sit as leaders and now back up and say, oh, this marking has not been done correctly, because the teacher is crying, the parent is crying, the student is crying. What generation are we bringing? At our time, when your results, no, let me clarify, at our time, when you had even failed, you were even scared, where do you step? Because it was not entertained at that particular time. You could enter your home and you are scared because maybe your results are not so good and you need to explain. But at this time, you are seeing, it is so sad. You are seeing a student there, she's so mourning, she's crying, it's emotional, it's feelings, it's everything. Who was studying for you? And then the teacher is there, oh no, don't worry. And then the parent is there, and you are the one struggling, going to the bursary offices and seeking that particular support.
All right, thank you.
So the parents should do what they're supposed to do. The teachers should do, the students should also be able to perform, and the ministry should put the right or complete policies so as to ensure we are not in these problems again. In Swahili, tunabembeleza hawa watoto sana in terms of education, and this should stop.
All right. Owen Baya, we've got, I think we've beaten it to the ground. We need to just take a short break with another topic as well. But finally, I think it's critical.
I want to say this, you know, the official result of NEC is the certificate of KCSE. It's the official result. And all these other results that are released by whatever media are provisional. So sometimes I look at this case where parents are going to court. What are they called? Challenging SMSs? What are they challenging? Because eventually the document to say you actually got these marks, you got these grades, is the certificate that is issued to you as a certification that you actually did that. But there is a result slip. The NEC issues a result slip. A result slip, which is a provisional result that can also be used for admission. And it is that result slip. If the marks are wrong on the result slip, it will be corrected. And NEC has done that even before this fanfare that has been brought in, in examination. Even during our time, I think there were 2 or 3 students who got the result slip had issues, and they took them to NEC and they were corrected and they got the right results. Yes. And that happens in examination systems. It happens, and this is not strange. But you see now, because of the commercialization of results, I was in my constituency and I saw those private schools that had got, they have these buses and they have put, the marks on the bus and they're driving around and telling parents, you see, our school performed very well, so bring in your students, actually transfer them from your school. There are private schools today who are actually poaching kids from public schools and telling them, come here, we'll give you a fee waiver so that you perform well as a marketing gimmick for them. That is how corrupted the system has become. Why? Because we have emphasized on results, on examination-based system. But I am happy that right now we are moving away from examinations. I can see a deliberate after this KCPE thing, which is an examination-based system. People now are starting to hype the examination part of it, Although we know it is not an examination-centered system, but I can see deliberately, slowly, people are talking about where are the KCPE results, where are they, and they want to start ranking schools even based on that. I think we need to move, and I am happy that this new system is actually downplaying results. And I want to tell the minister, please stop releasing results. It is not your fault. It is not your. Let the schools receive their results.
You as media should not be invited for this
if the minister
how then do we highlight the anomalies? If it was not really highlighted by the media and we had these anomalies,
I want to tell you this, Dibal, I want to say this. I want to say this, and I want to just give me more time. I want to tell you this, Dibal. I have no problem with media doing their job. The media's job is not only to report but also to analyze. Okay? And put results out there, and also look at the anomalies, because you look at what is happening in society and highlight the issues that are there. Continue doing that. The only problem I have is when you analyze, please be factual. Do not be biased and take a certain position that seems to destroy institutions. Do your job as journalists, as professionals, report, analyze, you know, do the dissection, do everything. But what you do, and I request you, do it the right way.
I can see the drums are rolling for me, from Honorable Tabitha.